Disclaimer, this is a voiceover and not my own. I'm too shy for that.
No, 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 no.
Hello again. Welcome back. Excuse the cat bug. I figured if I was going to take this hobby seriously, I would need to add some swaz to it. Plus, Bravest Warriors is one of my favorite shows, so go check it out. Anyway, Qatar happened. A lot of it. Let's discuss. With the current regulations coming to a close, there is a lot of debate as to the quality of the cars over the span of the last few years. Personally, I see these cars with current regulations more as the boats of tarmac. There will be a slow-mo shun at some point or another, and unfortunately that title goes to both Alpine and Ferrari, because, come on, the horse is so depressed with the recent result. He left too. I adore Lewis and Charles, so this weekend hurt a lot. The only positive this late into the season that I can see for the boys in red is they only have one more race in that disaster of a car, before they hopefully are given a decent car next season. Before we jump into the weekend review, I'd like to apologize for being so late to this upload. Unfortunately, I do have a job in the real world, and it has a habit of rearing its ugly head at times. I will do my best to upload more consistently, but I can't guarantee anything because the life of traveling for work is interesting to say the least. Anyway, the wrap-up. What happened in practice? Honestly, not much, and what did happen wasn't really a shock to anyone. First of all, big congratulations to Oscar. From the start, he was on a roll. 0 mistakes over the entire weekend, and it's frustrating that he couldn't cap off the weekend with a win, but we will discuss that later. Before the weekend kicked off, Pirelli and the FIA bosses imposed a 25-lap maximum for all tyre compounds due to a fear of tyres going boom. While part of me was glad they made a decision that was supposed to make the race more interesting, that was quickly taken away by the tomfoolery McLaren would later go on to commit. Again, we'll talk about that soon. Apart from some cars decorating the track with some gravel, nothing of note really happened. On to sprint quali. So what happened here? The two Alpines along with Lawson and Stroll were knocked out in Q1, and to everyone's surprise except Ferrari fans, Sir Lewis Hamilton unfortunately joined them. Q2 got underway, and sadly my two Haas boys were not able to escape the cutoff. But credit to them where it's due, they were able to do some impressive sectors in the cars, considering the team stopped development for this season. The lads were joined by the Saubers as well as newly demoted Red Bull driver Hadjar. It was a shame to see Hadjar miss out by the skin of his teeth. He's had an amazing season and has been the best of the rookies this season, considering his car famously not being the fastest on the grid. Q3 saw the lap times getting closer and closer, and some last-minute drama saw Yuki Tsunoda beating Max for the first time this season. We ended up with Oscar on pole, with George Russell next to him in P2, with Lando Norris not far behind in P3, and that leads us into the sprint. As predicted due to results of previous sprints this season, nothing of note happened. Oscar was able to get a great start, and once he was in the clean air, George had no hope of catching him. It didn't take long before Max was able to get around Yuki, the latter being handed a 5-second penalty, along with Kimi in the Mercedes for breaching track limits. Oscar was able to maintain his impressive record of a 100% sprint win rate in Qatar, and he was looking set to complete a Grand Slam over the weekend. George and Lando joined him in second and third. Sainz was able to bag a point for Williams after he finished P8, but that's the power of Sparkle's the Unicorn sticker. With that, let's head to quali. Again, qualifying came back around once more, and with teams now having to be more cautious of how many laps the tyres were counting up, you would think it would make for an interesting session, right? Yeah, no, it didn't. Sir Lewis was frustratingly knocked out in Q1 for the second time this weekend, joined again by Colapinto and Stroll. Ocon and Yuki were looking quick but were unable to get past the cutoff and were also eliminated. Q2 had a short delay, but once we got on track we saw the overall times becoming impossibly quicker and quicker. Once again, we had the Saubers knocked out along with Alex Albon and the V-Carbs. Q3 once more had some literal last lap drama, with Lando looking to snag pole from provisional holder Oscar Piastri. Having to abort his final fast lap saw Oscar hold on to pole, with Lando starting second alongside him. Charles once more struggled with the car, but somehow dragged the car into P10, which given the circumstances is majorly impressive. The main event started with Colapinto in pit lane. Lights nearly went out and away Ocon went a little too soon. Oscar was able to stay ahead of teammate Lando going into turn 1 and was looking set for a race win until the incident. A daring overtake, an evasive maneuver,
Holy shit, evasive maneuvers.
and a safety car led all but 3 cars into the pits on lap 7 for a tyre change. And here's the thing, this was a 57-lap race, with a compulsory 2-stop thanks to the 25-lap limit for each tyre set. Logic would say to pit because at lap 7, it's essentially a free stop. Ocon stayed out, having seen the 2 McLarens also stay out. The team later made a statement in which they admitted it was a mistake, but they thought it was a better strategy at the time as they didn't want to have Lando lose positions and drop points. Because why inconvenience one driver when you can inconvenience them both? Thank you, Papaya Rules, that was very logical and kind of you. Anyway, the cars all filed back out except for Nico, who was unable to continue the race. The safety car came back in and the cars were free to race once more, except I think they missed the part that says they are free to race. Thanks to the McLarens not pitting at the same time as the rest of the grid, there wasn't a great deal the others could do once the boys got outturned in front. And at this point, our only chance of some quality racing was going to be if there was a fuck up in the pits. Which happened. The McLarens came in for their 3rd tyre sets, and Oscar's team were able to pull off an impressive 1.8 second stop, with Lando not able to move as quick, which left him in P5 behind Kimi and Sainz. Max was in the lead at this point, and while Oscar was able to bring the gap down a few seconds, it was never going to be enough with the hard compounds. Further back, Kimi was able to hold off Lando for the longest while, but a slip on Kimi's behalf saw him go wide, which allowed Lando to pass, much to Helmut Marko's disappointment. We get to the last lap, Carlos is struggling with the car at this point, due to some damage, but was thankfully able to hold on to P3 for his 2nd podium this season. Just to clarify, I say thankfully in the sense that it's genuinely amazing getting to see him perform better than Ferrari and manage to score 2 podiums in one season when he said at the start of the year he didn't expect one at all. It's no shade to Lando at all, but much like the Holcomb podium, everyone liked that. We head to the season finale this weekend in Yas Marina. Zach Brown and Andrea Stella head to the bunker which I know they have hidden in that garage, and I will be heading to the couch to enjoy all the drama as we end off what has been a dramatic season. Until then, go drink some water, thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.